First and foremost, I'd like to find out if His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can say in all honesty that he's not interested in taking over from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I mean, I would be shocked to death if that was the reality. Because he himself knows that he's putting himself in a position to take over from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So this denial, what is it about? Is Dr. Bawumia honestly saying that he hasn't met persons who are interested in promoting him to take over from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
I can't say that.
Can he honestly say that he hasn't done anything in furtherance of that ambition? That is simply not true. You understand? So I am watching the scene and I'm listening to all the statements, and sometimes I laugh. Who in the New Patriotic Party today, including the president, can suspend Dr. Bawumia from the party? Who? That will be a total disaster for the party. At this stage, suspension of Dr. Bawumia from the party will be a total disaster for the party and for everybody. Because we can't suspend him and still keep him as vice president. Can you imagine the crisis which would occur no matter what he does if he's suspended? Can you imagine? Nobody has the guts to do that. Especially those in the national executive of the party today. How? My very good friend and brother, former comrade, Freddie Blake. What will be his locus in taking a decision to suspend Dr. Bawumia? Everybody in the NPP will go to his past and so on, and start asking questions about when he came and all of that. So that threat to suspend people who campaign and so on is a lame threat. It has no consequence. It has no effect, and we should put it, aside. The other thing is that this campaign has begun. Whether we like it or not, the campaign has begun. It has begun in earnest. I'm reading stories in the newspapers and so on, and it is clear that these stories are sponsored by vested interests in the party. I'm reading stories in the newspapers which say that this race is between Chemati and Bawumia, and they are giving Bawumia strong points and they are giving Chemati strong points and so on. Read those stories. Those are clearly sponsored stories. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I quietly am listening and I'm watching as a journalist, as somebody who is interested in what is happening within the political space. And Kwame, I can tell you in all honesty that as at now, at least the minimum of 14 people who are interested in taking over the mantle from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I can tell you straight away. And I'm saying that nobody should discount somebody like Adainimo. And his name hasn't come up yet. His name was not in the papers and so on. But in all of these calculations, you cannot discount Adainimo. Check his past performance when he contested for the flagbearership of the NPP. Sterling performance. In the last 5 years, he's not been hit by any scandal and so on. He's not accepted or has not been offered any position in government and so on. And he's doing his work as a party member and so on. He cannot be discounted in this equation. So all those who think that it's just between Bawumia and Alan, there are other things to watch. I would also not be surprised at all if Kulebu Apreku jumps into the race. In the NPP, there are traditions within the tradition.
I like that.
And Kulebu Apreku represents a tradition which is increasingly beginning to feel that it has been completely neglected. You understand? So you have to watch it. Again, in the NPP, there are different values in the party. There are very different values in the party. I mean, look, I know the party very well. Perhaps better than some of those people who today think that whatever, you understand. But I know the party very well. Within the New Patriotic Party, there is a certain, how do I say it? I want to say social democratic tendency within the New Patriotic Party. Whether you like it or not, it's there. It's people within the New Patriotic Party who do not think as traditional conservatives, who want to break out of the mold. You know, who think that the policies of the right-wing policies of the parties and so on ought to change and reflect a pro-people perspective and so on. They are there, they are in the party, no doubt. What are they likely to do? Don't forget, there are progressives in the New Patriotic Party like Kwame P. Nim and so on. What are they likely to do? All these would unfold. Then there are the people in the party who appear to be unhappy with the trajectory that the party is taking now. People like Dr. Nyaho Makro, people like Sami Krab, people like Paula Foko, and so on. What is it that they are likely to do? People like Kodon Pionin and so on. What is it that they are likely to do? We are waiting to see what will happen. You understand? And there are many names, and Honorable Mr. Fuseni, I would not doubt him. I know that he knows Matthew Poku Prempeh very well. They've been in Parliament over a long period of time. And when he begins to talk about Matthew Poku Prempeh having that ambition and so on, I would not doubt it. Who would he represent? If he enters the race, how is he entering the race? Is he entering the race as an Akufo-Addo loyalist? And if he's entering the race as an Akufo-Addo loyalist, how does that play with contesting with Dr. Manu Bawumia, who appears to be, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, appears to be the chosen son of the president? So there are interesting things. Now, there are also the young ones, very young ones, and I'll be surprised if you claim that you don't know. There are the very, very young ones who started building their war chest 4 or 5 years ago, and who are waiting for the opportunity to jump into the race and so on. They are there. They call them the young techs and so on. They are there. Whether they will be able to jump into it now or not is we wait and see. I mean, and so on. Now, for me, one of the things which is most striking has to do with statements that are being made or that have allegedly been made by some of the aspirants. Those are more troubling than anything else. You remember, the Minister for Agriculture was quoted as saying that infrastructural development in Ashanti has been very, very poor under this administration. And that if the people of Ashanti want development, they need to vote for an Ashanti as flag bearer of the party, and that is the only way they can achieve a certain measure of development. Now, he has denied that he didn't go to Kumasi to campaign and so on, you understand? What I'm not sure is whether he has denied making this statement. But it's the most damaging statement to the party. Why? The party itself claims that Ashanti is a stronghold. If one of the most prominent ministers, a close friend of the president, can say what he's alleged to have said, the party is in trouble. And going forward, a lot more people will be saying a lot more things. Now, if you take Jogate, who also happens to be a very good friend of mine, I mean, me and Jogate, we go way back, you know, who happens to be a very good friend of mine. Jogate is also quoted as saying that the Western region has been at the center of Ghana's development. The Western region was at the center of the struggle for political independence and so on, and yet they are not getting anything. What a damaging statement. What a damaging statement to the fortunes of the party. Indeed, if it is true that he said that, that's a knife in the belly of the party. You understand? We have Mr. Alan Martin, also a very good friend of mine. My friends are many. You understand? Also a very good friend of mine. And I recall that the last time he made a bid for the presidential candidature of the New Patriotic Party, he portrayed himself as somebody coming from the Central Region. He told everybody that he's not an Ashanti, he comes from the Central Region. He wanted a base. If you look at the results of that election, he did not make any impact in the Central Region. So how is he going to portray himself now as an Ashanti? Is that necessary? In any case, will he be distancing himself from this administration, given the problems that this administration is confronted with? He can't. He's been a prominent minister, member of cabinet. He took part in all the decisions. He was not opposed to the accumulation of loans and national debt and so on. So what is he presenting which is different from what Bawumia is presenting? That's his own headache. It's not my headache at all. It's his own headache, you know. And then we can go on and on and on. One of the things that I think is important in this analysis, and my brother Bota, he makes the point that in the NDC there's also a contest for leadership. Yes, there's a contest for leadership in the NDC, no doubt. There was a contest for the leadership of the NDC before the 20 elections. Of course, you can't run away from the fact that former President John Dramani Mahama had an overwhelming, support. His victory at their Congress was remarkable, huge margin, and so on. So that alone puts him ahead of everybody, and so on. And I don't suspect that situation has changed. But put that aside. Contest within an opposition party is substantially different from contest within a sitting, a ruling party. The consequences of the contest and what people say and so on are much more deep, they are deeper, you understand, than what will happen in the opposition party. So they should watch out and stop this, there's also a contest in the NDC. Yes, there's a contest in the NDC, and so what? And so you should tear yourself apart? Carry on. If that is what you think you should do, you should be carrying on. Now, look, let's not kid ourselves. From what I know, there's a lot of discontent within the New Patriotic Party. There's a lot of discontent within the New Patriotic Party. And every member of the party knows that what I'm saying is true. There's a lot of discontent. Will this discontent be mobilized by some of the aspirants? And if they succeed in mobilizing that discontent within the party, where will the party be?